It's so nice. It's so nice that I could just do this. Oh, I should maybe turn my lights on. It's so nice that I could just do this. Oh my god. Oh my god. Everything goes going wrong. Hi, Snoodle. Hi, anyone else in the past, present, or future? I just hopped out of the shower. And I have a couple of hours to do some work. And I'd like to share it with you. If I may. If I'm allowed. It is Wednesday. Where's my watch? July? We're in July. 8th. 2026. And first of all, hello. I'm happy to report that yesterday's stream went well. So the first kind of stream of the new setup is working as it should. Right now, everything is working as it should too. Hi, John Richard Williams. Welcome. So, again, this is part of the new era of the Bob stream is I can let myself go live whenever I want. AKA when my partner is out of the house. She's at the office right now. And the way I have my kind of day divided up right now, I do my work, my boring money work in the afternoons, and the mornings are free for me to do whatever I like with. And I think especially when I'm working on the game, I totally fries. When I'm working on the big Aruba game, this is from my hair. Look, this is a heart. Oh, this one. It's like a little heart on my shoulder. When I'm working on the Aruba game, a lot of that I'd like to do public. It's helpful to me. You know, I'm doing it all on my own. It's a very big project. It's helpful to me to do that with a little bit of an audience. It's I've noticed too that when I stream working on my ideas or coding or whatever, the talking out loud really helps kind of the processing, because I get distracted easily on account of tier 10 ADHD. So this is Aruba. Well, not that. That's Cuba, and that's Jamaica, and that's Haiti and the Dominican Republic. I guess that's Puerto Rico? Yeah. But this is Aruba. That's the California lighthouse. There's some fish and some trees. There's an iguana and some aloe. And that's the Hooiberg, the big hill in the middle of the island. That is the Casibari rock formations. That's some ship deep under the sea for scuba diving tourists. And just as a refresher, and I like to say this out loud also all the time, because it helps me kind of develop my elevator pitch, right? Is the Aruba game, which does have a name, but I'm keeping it under wraps for the time being. It might leak out during these streams or whatever, but I'm keeping it under wraps just because I want to sit on it for a bit longer. And it's not like ready to be revealed yet, right? It's still just all prototyping and all that stuff. Actually, hearts don't look like that. Well, go tell Joe Rogan, Neil. Go hang out with more of your pedophile friends. The setup of the game is essentially that it's a slightly smaller open world-ish, very simple open world-ish version of Aruba, in which you it's like a life/job simulator. You know, if you've played My Summer Car, it's that, but less crude and less punishing. Mon Bazou is a similar kind of thing. You have this environment. You mostly get around in a car. You have to take care of the car a little bit. It's not going to be very car focused though, but you know, you're not going to be building it from scratch or removing parts or anything like that. You may get a flat tire that you'll have to replace, you know, that kind of stuff. And you'll be managing like a little tourist stand, and that'll be like an environment in which I can tell stories and recreate parts of the island as it was, as I remember it from back in around 2005. And the goal is really to create kind of this framework of this world in which I can place certain areas that I remember. There's like an old... I keep talking about this, but there's an old... mini golf course that got torn down, and you know, there's certain natural monuments and places that I want to recreate one-to-one. In a way, this is a project to help me process a lot of my feelings and thoughts and nostalgia, and in another way, it's a way of kind of promoting the place and showing it for what it really is, both good and bad. It's mostly good, I'd say, but like, I'm not going to be too positively nostalgic about it. So that's the idea. So currently the goal is... I should probably have Google Earth open at all times when I'm doing these streams. So the goal is... Well, just in case you don't know. This is Earth. Oh shit, I didn't post it. I didn't post it on Mastodon. Hold on. Supposed to promote. You are watching an Alien Bob production. Always add your alt text, folks. Is that good? Is that good? Yeah. So this is Earth. This is where you people live. And, you know, here's Africa, South America, North America. And if we zoom here off the coast of Venezuela, there's Aruba. And that's where I grew up for most of my childhood. About 11 years. That's where my family is from. It's where, if all things go well, I'll be celebrating my 40th birthday this year there. So now, in essence, right, when you think about it, it's a small island. All right, tip to tail, it's 30 kilometers. So, like, that's not a big place. About 100,000, little over 100,000 people live there. Plus, of course, thousands of tourists. But the thing is, when you look at game worlds, due to practical constraints in Aruba there, Aruba up. Game worlds, whether they're based on real places or not, are massively scaled down. Even when they're huge. Like, if you look at the map of Assassin's Creed Origins, which has, like, these huge sections of Egypt, it's a large, very large map. It is scaled down by, like, more than a factor of 1,000, I think. Which is just fascinating. Now, it's not uniformly scaled down, and that's what interests me a lot, is you have, you know, cities and places that are scaled down a little less, that'd be like half size, a third size, quarter size. But then the distance between these locations, you know, they take you 10 minutes on horseback, and in real life they would take you 3 weeks, you know. I want to do something similar because I can't model this one-to-one. And I'm not sure if it would be fun one-to-one, but I want to create a sensation, an idea that it still feels one-to-one. But I do still want there to be distance between places. That like this is the main area that I'm going to be building as like for the minimum viable product, right? This area, and this area is, if you look at it from here to here, 2.5, right? So let's just say 2.5 by, if we take from the ocean, by like 1.5 kilometers. That would still be a lot of work to make. It will still be a lot of work to make. But this is a section that I have, at least for like this road here, I want to have mostly 1-to-1. I want this to be 2.5 kilometers on the map, but I can't have the rest of the island be as large. So what I have done, I've already worked on this a bit, is I've scaled it down to... I have scale here. Which image is this? Let's see, coastline, roads, reference images. This one and this one. Okay, so I have scaled down the island by a third, generally, because if I want to keep that area 2.5 kilometers long, I can't scale it down more without it taking up the entirety of the northern coast. Right, so instead of it taking up less than a tenth of the northern coast, it takes up, you know, what does it look like? A fifth, just about, maybe a little less. So I've been sketching this whole map, trying to get the detail right, because at some point I need to put this in Godot and actually create a terrain, a basic terrain that'll serve as the foundation for the rest of the stuff. And I need to figure out where things are in relation to each other, which what do you call it? No, not you. Which points of interests are important and which need to be let go. Like for instance, the airport. All right, the airport, the runway is also it's a decently sized runway that is just under 3 kilometers long. So the runway is just under 3 kilometers long. If you look at the runway in GTA 5 for the airports, they're comically small in comparison to real life. But because you're not in real life, you're in that game, it feels still big. Now, I have a side benefit that I will not have this area, this very dense, like this is like the capital city area, that will not be in the game visitable. Let's say, like I have this road network that I've sketched out. It's relatively simple, you know. It's a few main highways, and I could have branching areas off of that lead to wherever. But for instance, like, okay, this is that central hill. This is the Heuberg, right? In real life, that's here. Can I do 3D? Yes. In real life, that's here. So it's quite a distance. In real life, that's here. And then there's a few other small hills that are part of it too. And then there's some land, and then there's the airport. So, but in the game, they have to be a lot closer. And I don't know if I can put the other hills there also. I feel like it would be wrong not to. So it's a question of trying to scale, because the hill I want to be 1-to-1. Because this is, if you look at it here, it has a stairway all the way to the top. It's like 600 steps, pretty steep. Nice climb, beautiful views. Something I used to do as a kid. Like I'd walk through some of these kind of woody areas. It was a lot less built up back then. From my grandma's house, which was here somewhere. And early in the morning, walk to it, walk up the steps, take in the view, walk back down with your legs trembling from having to take the staircase. So I want this to be 1-to-1 or close to. I cannot have the hill be 1/3 the size. So that needs to remain big while everything else shrinks down. But I can't shrink the airport down too small either. But the airport is like a thing that you see in the distance. It's not a thing you see in detail. So I've gotten a lot of reference images. I have specific things that I want to do. Specifically, like I'm trying to get kind of a rather detailed outline of the coast, and I'm doing this all in Inkscape so that I have like vectors. I might I had this thing where I wanted to increase the scale a bit. Because right now what I have is, I believe one of these squares is not 100 meters. What's the scale again? Oh, because I changed it. I had it all worked out and I changed it. But it is to scale. I think, yeah, it has to be, right? One of these squares is 100 meters by 100 meters, essentially. But because I have limited pixel density, and it only allows me to zoom in this far, and like a 1 pixel line would be what? According to... No, I need a line drawing thing. Okay, I think we can work with that. Because I wanna sketch it out in like quite a lot of detail. You know, here too I have sketches already for like where houses would be placed and that kind of stuff. The only annoying thing is I can't erase sections of bitmaps in Inkscape. That'd be very convenient because all I really need is this outline. But these are images that are just overlaid on top of each other, that are close-ups of the coast. And I'm just trying to kind of I wanted to line them up because I have this worked out close enough in detail. Now the way I see it happening is I need basically a big good outline of the island, and then I need an elevation map, and the elevation map is going to be a little difficult because for the most part it's flat, right? That's fine. There's a few kind of like slightly hillier parts, and this elevation on Google Maps or Google Earth isn't super accurate. But then there's the hilly side of the island, and like, how do I create this in detail? There's a couple of hills here that I definitely want, but this is just like, it's very undefined, you know? So I need better detailed elevation maps, really. And then I need to shrink that down, and that's going to be a little tricky. But we'll get there in the future, and again, it's more about getting the proportions right than anything. But one thing I wanted to do was get the coastline right. How will I do this? Oh. How will I do this? The thing is that these pictures are one-to-one. And these pictures are one-to-one. Can I have this be more transparent? Can I get transparency on just the on the layer? Yes. Alright, it might not be one-to-one. I may have already messed with the proportions a little bit. The airport is smaller than it is in my raw drawing. That's interesting. Okay. So some of this will also need... It's just that this was a very rough sketch. Okay, so this shape is okay. And I want the cruise port. Divided by... Can I erase some of this? I think, yeah. Hold on, let's move you back. Let's take the snapping off. Again, this is more about positioning than anything else. I do have I have roads somewhere. Okay, that'll get me opacity. That's good. So how do I modify this line now? This is the coastline path. Can I erase? Yeah, that doesn't work. Are you guys connected? You're not connected at all. That's fine. I think what I might want to do is draw an entirely new path. And then I can eventually erase this one. So I'll just pick a new color for that. Just temporarily. Nope. Coastline. Nope, I don't want fill, I just want stroke. Stroke is too big. Too strong a stroke. And Inkscape has crashed. Great! Inkscape! Inkscape's one of those open source tools that's like... It's like 80% of the way there. But that last 20% is pretty rough. Excuse me, how do I just select you? Thank you. Stroke style with 1? I guess so. Remove the snapping. Okay, I don't know if the scale of this is going to be correct, but that's okay. this would be seaport. Is this incorrect? Did I fuck you up? No, this is okay. Were you there? Were you there in 2005? This is the container port. A lot of stuff has changed in 20 years. Yeah, you were there mostly. Okay, if the Heuberg is there, the airport is there. Let me see. And this is Mangalhalto, right? This is cloudy. Yeah. There might be a location you'll be able to get to in the future. But I don't need to really think about it now. What size is Baby Beach? Yeah, see, this is all wrong. I have Baby Beach there. This is Rogers Beach. I don't know what this bay would be called. I think it has a name. Just have to have a think about how I shrink this down. Like this. Like that. Baby Beach. I think what I can do now is here I can start shrinking this. Or at least moving it. Play around with the scale a little bit. Nope. Just you. I think I can make you a little shallower, and then, yeah. Because, okay, what size is Baby Beach? Baby Beach across is... It used to be smaller. It's 400. Did it used to be smaller? Is this true? Not that much. So it's 400. And I have here 130. That can't be accurate. So... Make it a little bigger. $260. That's fine. Now we can change you again a little bit. Squeeze you out a little to get a little bit more definition on this side. Okay, I think that's good. I just need to get rid of wherever you are. This is a very rough drawing. And I need to compare it to my bitmap scale drawing. Bring these all into one path. I can do that, right? I can union. Nope, that doesn't work. I can bring them all into one object. I can group them. I can combine them. But you're still separate somehow. Okay. So you can go away. Probably still want to mess with the stroke on this. Just so I can see it a little better. And get rid of... Not you. Not you. Come on now. Come on now. What am I trying to get rid of? I'm trying to get rid of whatever this picture is. Not airport reference. Not Hooiberg reference. NB reference. think we've got something here. And again, if we measure this tip to tail, it's a little over 10 kilometers. And if we measure it like that, a little over 3 kilometers. If we measure this, that would be 7.5, and this is 8. So the actual like map size would be about 8 by 8 kilometers. But of course, much of that would be ocean. The actual geographic area would be somewhere under 30 square kilometers. But again, of course, much of that would be inaccessible. Roads. Path 1. So this is NB to Mativiti. I have notes. Hold on. Should have dried my hair better, huh? Look at this. Ridiculous. Recreate entire sketch in vectors so I can move things around proper layers. Okay, that's being worked on. Place water tank and antenna in Urataka. Layout my video according to notes plus real layout. Get a more accurate southern coastline for base. That's done. Okay. These red lines are like basic sketches for main corridors. So not necessarily roads you can drive on. Because like this is not something you would be able to drive on because this goes through too much populated terrain. If I have... This is the reference map. This is my old sketch. I've changed a little bit how I want to connect the roads. I don't entirely remember how. Island sketch. You can go. I had kind of biomes. I think I need to do that. Create a new group or folder or whatever. Call it biomes. Great. this is gonna work. I need like a mask. Is path 48? Is there like a... Okay. I can do paint bucket. No, not on it. Get rid of the fill. Fill bounded areas. Can I like limit that to just a layer? Doesn't feel it great. Oh, you Dumbo! No. No, I'm not a Dumbo. I'm actually really smart. Combine. Path, combine, and then change the fill color to something a little more oceanic. And then that needs to be like a top layer. Ocean top. Because now if I draw in the biome, no, that still sucks. Reference image is gone. Is accurate enough. Oh, this is like urban. What's a brown? Nope. Dirt. And then there's like beach. A nice golden yellow, sandy yellow. Control K to combine each and light dirt. Be a lighter brown. Nope. Control K. Light. Dirt. The fuck out of here, stroke. Why is the beach this big, you know? Oh, and then there's green. There's green. Not much of it. Not a whole lot of green to be found. Okay, biomes probably be under roads and coastlines and whatever. It's not perfect, but you know. Because now if I do this, that looks pretty terrible. I wonder... Hi, Fluff. I don't know if this works. Can I, okay. So what I would like to do, get rid of this. Get rid of this. I have the coastline, right? Biomes shouldn't be in any of these. It should be its own separate thing. No, not an ocean either. There we go. Does anything work ever? You can go to. So I have this path. If I give this path a fill, it looks like shit. Why? Because it's like not closed properly or something. Flatten. Nope. That's not what I want. Inset, outset, linked offset. Fill between path. Fluff Weasel has redeemed new Winamp skin. Oh, and have I been on the camera this whole time? That's even better. So I've been doing nothing. Winamp Museum. Probably bookmark that. How does this work? You'll see. Okay, I assume I found it. I assume I found the correct skin. And what happens now is that I double click and I say yes. The Windows user account control pops up. And if for some reason it started it as a new Winamp version. So the only problem is, Fluff, you happen to have chosen a skin which works better when it's fully expanded. And when not, it just shows only the tip of the artwork. Not much I can do about that. This is how we learn. I can't, you know, the only skins I can use, and I think this is the only skins that the Winamp Skin Museum even has, is the ones that fit the general sizing of like Square YouTube with the equalizer and playlist open. Not some of the more exotic ones where the shape is completely different. Anyway, this is what I was working on. No, not that. This blob that is supposed to be Aruba. I have this path, right? How do I... Inkscape. Close path. Inkscape. Close path. Select group and do ungroup and all segments are highlighted. Change the node tool and say draw a rectangle around the whole knife shape. Every node is now selected. Now click join selected nodes from the toolbar. Select group. But they're already combined. Is the problem. Now? Okay, but now it's not. Now the fill is the line. Which is also not good. But what if I do this now? Still wrong. Shift enter. Okay, so now it is in separate paths. Apparently. So... And I fucked it, so it's not a line anymore. Hi, Nom Nom Fighter. I'm trying. I hope everyone else is trying too. Working with vectors isn't easy. Connect path? Like... What can I do here? Not fill between paths. That's not what I want. Trying is the only thing we can do, correct? Connect points command would be nice, wouldn't it? Inkscape. Connect nodes. Select both the paths using the node tool. Select the two nodes at the joint and click on join selected nodes from the control bar. Hi, Noya. Select the two nodes with the node tool. Then a button will appear in this giant mess of buttons. Oh, here. There we go. This button. Join selected end nodes with a new segment. I need you to be off. Okay. So those... So now it's one segment again. I need it to be split properly. Do I? Ugh. The thing is, Inkscape got like a pretty big UI update last year, the year before. Massively improved things, but it's still like, it's still one of those classic shitty open source. What are you doing? You know, user interfaces. I just hope that I can make the fill work properly. Because that would save me a whole lot of headache right now. Brought from the early 2000s to the mid 2000s. Exactly that. 100% correct. Now, I am, of course, also using it wrong. I will not deny that. But the also matters in that statement. The blame can't be laid entirely at my feet. And again, just... First new Bob stream was great. It was the best thing ever that you missed. No, it was fine. It was fine. Again, what I'm trying to do here is I have significantly scaled down Aruba by a third. And this is on a 10 kilometer by 10 kilometer grid. So I am actually trying to lay stuff out according to a proper scale that would still make sense, instead of just shrinking the island and having all the roads be teeny tiny little 1/3 width roads. I have to scale like locations properly and make sure they fit. Like the airport can't be too small, and certain elements have to be 1-to-1, and certain elements on the coastline need to be appropriate distances, etc. So I've been trying to sketch that out, and I'm just trying to now lay it into a vector image so that I can actually mess around with the layers a little bit. It's turning out to still be a lot of work. Who could have possibly predicted this? But the goal is not to get like a super detailed version of the map. The goal is to mostly just get the proportions correct, so that as I start building it out in Godot, like I actually start building the terrain, everything makes sense. Aha! Caught you. Anything broken here? This looks like an end piece. This also looks like an end piece. Yes, let's simplify this a little bit. So the way I use Inkscape for the most part, the thing I do the most in Inkscape is whenever you see one of my like designs that is my handwriting, I take a very close-up picture of my handwriting and I drop it in Inkscape and I turn it into a vector and then I clean it up. And that's kind of nice because I'm not really working with detailed paths and very specific, like what I'm doing now, where all these lines are like super important and whatever. I'm getting the hang of it. Which one of you? You. I have made it you. So the point of this map is mostly just to lay out points of interests and roads and scale them proportionally to kind of how I want the island to work. Oh my, what a twisty little knot. And right now, the reason I'm doing it like this right now is because I would like to have a proper outline of the island with which, from which, through which, nope, not you, different handle. I can sketch some of the interior without worrying about the borders of the island, you know? That makes sense. A mask, basically. I need a mask of the outline that I have just created. Because I want to get a little bit of a sketch of the biomes. And not real, not like Minecraft biomes, but just a general idea of what certain environments will look like. Yeah, this will be a problem. Come on now. Just link you and you. Good enough. Oh my god, there's so many breaks. There's more? No. It just looks shitty. Try to get back into game dev. It's always helped to see someone else struggle with minutia. Yeah. Oh my, no. Minutia is all I've got. Minutia is all I've got. I'm looking into like project management techniques and shit, because the project is starting to get so complicated that I'm no longer capable of just keeping it all in my head. And like 1,000 Obsidian Markdown files. It's only gonna help me so much, I think. You and you, that's an easy one. You and you. Shit, where was I? Was it this one? Yeah. Did there a simplify command to remove some of these nodes? Maybe. Would be nice, wouldn't it? Decimate. I don't know if I would trust it, though. Is the thing. Where am I? Still a ways to go. But I think we got over like a lot of the complicated parts. I'm at Aruba. You can try to see how it looks on Undo and then the level of aggressiveness. Do you know where amongst these 5 million buttons I could find such a magical feature? Alright, we're headed towards California now. Like, one thing I've done, for instance, in shrinking down the proportions on the island. Reset the north. Is path or filters? No worries. Is two landmarks that I want. Is here is the Alto Vista Chapel. Hold on, let me just get a modern version. All right, this is built on the site of like the oldest church of the island. You get nice views, and there's a big water tank here. This is a vineyard somehow. Don't know how that works. And then here, over here, is the lighthouse. This lighthouse. All right. And so as you can see on the map, there's a huge golf course in between, and there's this bunch of empty space. And in my version, we can zoom out a little bit, and I can show my sketch. I've compressed them quite a bit. The lighthouse is here. There's a little bit of golf course, and then the church is here. And a lot of this like empty zone here is all shrunken down. I put a lot of thought into it. You know, not everything can survive. Control L. Path simplify. Noted. Should I do that before or after I continue doing this? Because there's probably still a few more breaks in the path. I didn't draw this all as one line. See? I sketched it. I even used my drawing tablet, I think. There's these little curls. Pew, pew, pew. Oh, that wasn't? That is a closed loop. Sweet. Let's just assume this is. I think we've come full circle. Yeah. Okay. Path simplify. Control L. Is that good? There's a little curl there. That's okay. What's redo? Shift Control C. It's a little too much. Rounds it all out. Now the question is, can I give the path a fill, and will it actually fill? Oh, so close! Almost. This would indicate what? This would indicate there's breaks here? Potentially? This, yeah? Okay. Here? I see. You. Right. Oh. There's 3 more. Yeah, this looks very squiggly indeed. Oh, what did I do? Break path of selected nodes. Well, can't break what's already broken. Is that it? Okay. Okay. So now what I need to do is One, get rid of the outline. Would be nice. Save. Already done. Now what I need to do is create a mask, right? So that this blob isn't as blobular. Get rid of these strokes. Wait, can I just make a mask? Is that a thing? I don't even know how masks work in like Photoshop and shit. But what I could just do is create a square, and then cut this out of the square, right? Or I could just cut it out of the biomes as I have them now, can't I? Make it white. Oh, it's a little no. That's a little German of you to say. I'm sorry. Select two objects. Use set mask. Create clone. Group. Ungroup. Select. Set mask. Okay, I maybe did it the wrong way. Maybe like this. Well, you can go, I think, because you sucked anyway. The fill tool. Coastline. Can I mask? Can I just mask? Hey! Hey! Thank you, Noya. Good enough. Okay, so that's that. Where has my... But now the layer has gone? I don't necessarily want that, because I might want it for other reasons. So let me just duplicate that. All I have to do is click unmask. I will never remember that, is the thing. Oops. Oh, right. You're there. Get rid of you. Set mask. No. Because you are invisible. Okay. So, I'll put you in... No, I won't put you in Misk. I'll just put you down there. Enjoy your work, Noya. I have only like a half an hour left. I'm gonna have some lunch and then I have to do work too. Okay, now let's bring back some of these references. You can go up, and roads can go up too. Island sketch can now go for the most part. Balashi reference is there. Right. So each of these squares would be 10 meters. That makes sense. Yeah. Which makes the actual runway, excuse me, is about 2.7 kilometers. And then my runway would be about 1.1. That's fine. The only difference is, of course, the terminal buildings. Well, one, they would look a little different, right? Because this is now, they're even building an expansion here. But in 2005... Oh, it's not that different. Okay. A pretty sizable airport for such a small island. The terminal building would be bigger. Just for scale. Yeah. Hi, Red. This is Adventure Golf. A full 18 hole miniature golf course. You're right, Red. You're right. How did you know? These are the roads. This is going to... So, the thing is, again, what I'm actually going to be building, and this will be like... As I'm actually building the game out, is this little square. It's where the minimum viable product of the game will take place. And then if it is enough of a success, you know, if everything works, then I can expand all these other areas and I can just connect to something that is already designed. But I need to, because of the way vistas will work, and because I want to build it with the notion of I can expand this to the entire island. I can't just build this little part. I need to sculpt the entire island in some detail. Hi, Neoday. I need to sculpt the entire island in some level of detail. Playable golf course, and a playable... Listen, this has always been my dream. Playable mini golf course, right? Because it doesn't exist anymore. This is where it used to be, right? You can see it right here. And then this building here was an arcade. Here was like a little go-kart track. Here were batting cages. The whole thing. And then now, if you go zoom in to 2024, it's a supermarket. It's a supermarket. So part of the project is, you know, kind of recreating that in as much detail as I possibly can, which turns out is not going to be a whole lot because I've been able to find very precious little information about it. So I'm going to have to rely a lot on memory and a few really grainy, low-quality YouTube videos. But I'll do deeper research. But that's like one of the expansion zones. Right, this is the general area that's going to be in the game that I have designed in much more detail already. Like here, this is kind of the sketch of the playable area. Right, this is the natural bridge where you'll be working, and then there's the road, and then here is like a little settlement with some stuff to do. And there's like a garage and a store and a gas station and whatever. And the idea is that once that is built out, I can create other areas that you can explore too and that you can drive through. So it'll be open world, but not like Grand Theft Auto open world where you can go down every street and there's people walking and whatever. It'll be a much more simplified, feasible, by me within 5 years kind of open world where you'll have little zones of density that you can travel to. And do things, you know, I don't know, upgrade your car, play mini golf, climb this hill, maybe discover little narrative things, you know. All without me having to actually model 3 million tiny little buildings in full detail. You know, like this whole area will not be in the game. Oh, sorry, BTK. TV mode does not work on desktop. Should it? It should, shouldn't it? It should, shouldn't it? I'm gonna just reject all points. It's fine. Who gives a shit? Let's quickly change that. Okay? Let's quickly change that. I'm just gonna open OBS for a sec. Desktop. Paste filters. But there you go. That's what you wanted, isn't it? That's what you wanted. This is the new TV mode. There's like an actual like CRT pixel mask going on there. Although now it's not going to turn off automatically because I still need to put it in streamer bot. So hold on one sec. Actions. This is a little behind the scenes. Also, you can't read anything anyway, so it's all safe. TV mode. And to copy a bunch of filters. Hi, Feather. Let's get chat back. Where was I? I was in StreamerBot. Okay, so filter state. Duplicate sub action. And then set it to, oh god, what was it called? No, it's not a scene filter state. So I can't duplicate it. I need to do this from scratch. It's a source filter state. OBS Studio sources, set source filter state. And then the source is in the scene desktop, and the source is desktop, and the filter is gamma visible. Okay. I wonder if I could do this in time for it to turn off automatically. That would be cool. Duplicate sub action. And the same for bloom. Duplicate sub action. No, not delete. Duplicate. Same for CRT subpixel. Duplicate sub action. CRT shape. Okay. Duplicate sub action. Hide the gamma. Duplicate sub action. Hide the bloom. I need to do the same thing for Super Game Boy mode too, don't I? Desktop bloom hidden, subpixel hidden. And then CRT shape. So let's see if this will turn off. It should be 5 minutes, right? Game Boy mode. Desktop. The Game Boy mode. Visible. Duplicate. Hidden. So the way I've been setting up, the way I've set up the the new what's the word? The new stream setup is it should be a lot easier to expand and build upon and modify as I go along. In case that is what I'm interested in doing. How does the CRT mode look? You know, it's not bad. It looks very muddy at low quality. What can you do? I had, like, way back in the day, I had a much better TV mode setup, but that plugin stopped working. Okay, so this is the island. What I need to do now, okay, I have my to-do list, which you can't read. Recreate the entire sketch in vectors so I can move things around. Proper layers, yes. Place water tank and antenna. Layout modifieri according to nodes plus real layout. Roads in more detail. Biomes in more detail. Biomes is good. I think what I'll need to do future-wise is the punch card to-do list. Ah, that's okay. It's only for a few minutes. Nobody cares. Can I zoom in? Nope, that's the wrong. Can you read it now? No, still can't. I'm just trying to think of like what I need to do now. Because I got the biomes and I got the outline of the coast kind of the way I want it. But I think what I'll still need is a list of noteworthy landmarks and where to place them. Because I did have that in this sketch for the most part. Where is it? Island sketch. Yeah, you can't see shit, but that's fine. What do I need today? Waveform of an orphan dying. Mini golf. Yeah. You know, I have that. You can almost see writing there. I think that's what I need to do now is get just a little bit of a sketch of where all the landmarks are in relation to each other, and then I can do that. So I'm just gonna write that down. I'm gonna leave it on one more minute, and if it doesn't, then that means. I don't know what that means. I don't know how to turn it. I don't know how to turn it off manually. I can just turn it off manually. That's fine. Look, doop 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 doop. Yeah, disable WhatsApp pop-ups. That should have been disabled. I'm on snooze mode. I could probably disable that manually. My do not disturb is on. Motherfucker. Yeah. Oh my god, look, when you zoom out on the 2000... This is to 2024? Why is the zoomed out quality so shit? Anyway, let's leave you with no, I'm not gonna go to YouTube. The goal of the game. Okay, the goal of the game is the goal of the game is this. Let's go back to Earth. Let's go back to Earth. I don't know where you are. We're going back to Earth. The goal of the game is this. There's this landmark. the collapsed natural bridge. And there is like this snack bar tourist stand there. I don't know if people also live there. What's going to happen is in 2005 this collapsed. But here you see it's still standing. It was quite a glorious. It was like one of the main like natural landmarks of the island. It was very beautiful. You see, this is from 2002. You can still see it was very busy. The goal is you work there, right? It belongs to your family. You work there. You make money there. You deal with selling shit to tourists. But you also have like a caretaker job. Your job is to prevent the bridge from collapsing. Meanwhile, you live somewhere over here. Don't ignore the ostrich farm. That's not going to be in the game. Also ignore Utopia. That doesn't exist. So the main loop will be you live here. There's like a crossroads here, right? There's like a gas station, a supermarket, whatever, some houses with some characters in it who maybe have some story or whatever. So your main thing is you live here with your grandma. You drive. This is like a 2-kilometer drive. And it's going to be 1-to-1 scale. You work here when you want to make money, to upgrade your car, to buy stuff, to potentially upgrade the tourist stand and restore it to its former glory, all while trying to prevent the bridge from collapsing. So you're kind of balancing. It's this typical thing that Aruba actually has to deal with, right? Is balancing the income you get from tourism with the trying to protect nature and the conservation efforts and all that kind of stuff, all while also being a showcase for what the island actually looks like, right? I'm basing it off my memories, my experience. I'm basing it off of real geographic data. Like, this road is going to be 1-to-1 in as much detail as I can get. In December, when I'm gonna go, I'm gonna take my younger sibling and we're gonna go down this road several times, and I'm gonna measure how long it takes. I'm gonna try to record sounds. I'm gonna take pictures for textures and color palettes. I'm gonna try to map like any kind of big rock or area and try to recreate it in an art style that is feasible for one person who is not a technical artist. In addition, I will be modeling the entirety of the island, scaled down, right? Scaled down by like a third. And certain areas will become eventually, if I can get funding and all this stuff, visitable. And there will be activities there, such as the big central hill in the middle with the staircase, with like a 600 steps up. You will be able to climb that and then have a view of the whole island, such as that mini golf course, etc., etc. Other places, and then there's like stuff you can do too, like maybe. The way I have it set up now, there is a garage here in which you can fix your car. The car will be a off-brand Suzuki Samurai / Jimny. That can get damaged if you drive too roughly. You can get flat tires, you can get engine damage, that kind of stuff. So you can fix it here, but potentially you can customize it. But for that, you'd have to go drive to a garage that's somewhere else. So there's an exploration element, and there's this element there of trying to recreate the feeling of being on the island, and having it be, scaled down yet still feel 1-to-1, and have a certain level of detail there. There will be management aspects in the sense that you will be running, or at least working at that tourist stand, and that will be your main source of income. And there will be survival elements in that you will need to eat and drink, and take care of yourself. There will be like a heat meter, a stress meter, that kind of stuff that you still need to balance out. You need to eat to have energy. You need to sleep to not be fatigued. You need to take care of the heat and the sun and hydration. You could potentially upgrade your Suzuki Samurai into 4-wheel drive and go off-roading. But essentially, I'm creating a game world that has like a gameplay loop, but also incentives to go out and explore these areas and drive to them and learn some stuff. You know, I've gotten very deep into the history of Aruba. I have a bookcase full of books about the island and its history. I'm very interested in that. I've gone very deep into that. But also there is like a, you know, generally, and this is of course to its great benefit financially, but generally the image that people get internationally of Aruba whenever they get an image is tourist heaven, right? It's got, oh, beautiful beaches and lots of hotels, right? Look at how many hotels, so many fucking hotels. But I want to create something that could be considered a mass market product, aka it goes on Steam or whatever. You know, with some luck, I get a publisher, I don't know, that shows a more realistic, grounded portrayal of the island. You know, I'm gonna have characters that are based on kind of archetypes that I'm familiar with, that were there. They're gonna have names that are very based on real people, names that are common there. It's going to be very authentic, is what I'm trying to say, without me having to model 300,000 little streets, and instead modeling several dozen bigger streets. But you know, that's the idea, and the goal too is, like, I can't live there anymore. I don't want to live there anymore. I do want to visit yearly. It's very expensive. I'm creating like a miniature version of it that I can just kind of drive around in and chill. Like, other elements will be, your character has, where do I have these sketches? Your character has, items in their pockets, right? You have a watch that you can use to check the time and have alarms. You have an MP3 player, because this is very much based on my experience, and it's set in 2005. Well, I had an MP3 Discman, but you have an MP3 player that you could just put MP3s into a folder, and then they'll be there in your little in-game MP3 player. This is Obsidian Red. This is what I use to keep all my notes. It's very, very handy. You should look into it. You'll have a phone that'll be based on the Nokia 3200, which was my phone in high school. And that will be, you can use that to call a tow truck if your car gets stuck. You can potentially get messages from people. You can play games on it. You'll have keys that you'll need to use. I'm very into like tactility and materiality, so I want a lot of interactivity in the environment, light switches, door locks, that kind of shit. Will there be a creature? That, you know, I would like to have a little dedication to Artorias in there somehow. This Friday will be exactly a year that we had to say goodbye to him. So that creature will at least be in there somehow. But I would like a little bit of, you know, nature in there also, like small animals, bigger animals. Sometimes there's like wild roaming goats. I think in 2005, I don't know if the donkey sanctuary was already there and there were still some wild donkeys. But yeah, that's why also I want to have these devices, and like you actually have to use the buttons on the devices. They will have usable user interfaces. I love that shit, and I'm going to be pouring everything that I can into that. But first, to do that, I need to make map, and I need to make a very basic character controller, and then I need to make basic terrain and start plopping things around and messing with scale. So we're getting there little by little. It's my hope that the mapping and character controller elements of this can be done before this month is over. Depends, because I'm still also working on a big video that I also hope will be out before this month is over. And some of that I will be doing in these mornings with you here if you wish to be. Now I'm gonna take a little break. I'm gonna have some lunch, and I'm gonna go do regular boring work that's gonna make me depressed. But this was the first of many. I don't know if many. I would like to work on the Aruba game at least one morning a week. And if that happens to be when Mrs. Bob is at work at the office and the house is freeing, I can just yell with the door open and whatever, and she doesn't, because her desk is right there, right? So she's not working. Then that's something I can do. And that's part of the reason for this new stream setup, and not just the new technical stream setup, but also my attitude towards streaming and all that junk. So yeah, I think this worked out. A couple of hours, a little bit of work in there, but that's the goal, right? So Tuesdays, regular Tuesday streams, I'll be playing games. You know, I'll probably be playing Miasmata for the foreseeable future, because that's like a 20-25 hour game. So that'll be at least 4 more streams, I think. But at random times during the week, because Mrs. Bob, hi Stan, is on her lunch break now apparently and looking. You know, whenever she goes to the office, that depends on a bunch of factors. So there's no like schedule there. That's just like, if I'm here and I feel like it, and I'm not... Like, if I'm just sitting on the couch sketching in this thing, that's not going to be a very entertaining stream. Although, that is, with my new wireless mic setup, which I actually wanted to use today, but I forgot to put it in, is possible. But yeah, thank you, everybody. I am going to now have myself a little meal, and then... my eyes are gonna glaze over for like 4 to 5 hours, and hopefully by the end I've made a few dollars. I'll see you around. Thank you so much for joining me on this. You'll see me more here and there. And I'm gonna hit the end stream button now, because today is the day.